they're trying to tie my hands.
Well, do you think it's any better for me? Nobody pays the slightest attention to my wishes. It's almost like being a poor relation.
Well, we're just going to have to figure out a way to use it to our advantage.
Yes, but how? Liz has these girls bound to her by a series of revolting promises.
We'll find a way to get around them.
Have you seen Carolyn? All of a sudden, she's a tycoon. It's as though they'd made a duplicate copy of Liz.
Well, that's all right, as long as she's busy with the business. She won't be any trouble to us. The important thing is David. I've got to have more time in order to win him over.
Well, what's stopping you?
Vicky.
Yes. I admit Liz has brainwashed her.
Well, you've got to do something about it. You're David's father.
What can I do?
Liz isn't here, and she's in no condition to know who's doing what. I want my son.
I want you to have him, but what's the next move?
Getting around Vicky. I've already had an argument with her.
About what?
David, of course. As soon as I start to make any progress with him, she interferes.
Well, certainly she can't prevent you from seeing the boy.
No, I've been able to get around that.
Well, you just have to be patient. Obviously, it's going to take you a little longer than you thought.
I've asked Vicky to let him come here and spend the night. She refused. That's all I need, Roger. One night. One night alone with him, and you'll never be troubled by him again. Because he'll belong to me. Completely.
Yes, I think that would be a very good thing. Let David spend the night with you, and then he would get used to your taking care of him.
Exactly.
Well, why not?
What about Vicky?
Well, I'll take care of Vicky.
And Liz?
Well, Liz is hardly in any condition to be told about this now, is she? When she gets back from the hospital, it'll all be over. Except the shouting. Though she did promise that if David genuinely wanted to go with you, she wouldn't oppose him. What a homecoming that's going to be.
Sometimes I think the only reason you want me to have David is because it's going to irritate Liz.
Do my motivations really matter?
No, not really.
We understand each other so well. It's a wonder we could never make a go of our marriage.
Well, that's because we understand each other too well.
It was because you encouraged other men that made me jealous.
No, it didn't. That's not true at all. It hurt your pride. You only wanted me because Burke wanted me. And winning me was the only thing in which you ever beat him.
Why did you want me?
Because I thought I'd like the kind of life you could give me. I thought I'd enjoy being a Collins of Collinsport. And then, of course, we were accomplices at Burke's trial.
Yes. Perjury does make strange bedfellows, doesn't it?
Mother! I've got something tremendous to tell you.
David, what is it?
I saw my painting again.
Painting? That's impossible.
I did.
Where?
At the old house.
I have told you 100 times not to go to that place alone.
I wasn't alone.
And Vicky shouldn't take you there either.
I wasn't with Miss Winters. I was with Dr. Guthrie.
What?
He wanted to see the old house, and he wanted to see Josette.
And did he?
No, she wouldn't appear.
Oh, and that's where you saw the picture of me down there?
Yes. It was where Josette's is.
What did Dr. Guthrie say about it?
Well, he didn't see it.
Well, if it was there, why didn't he?
Well, I was standing in the room alone, and then he called me, and it disappeared.
Well, how did you feel about that?
I really felt awful. I felt even worse than when they first took it away from me. I felt like crying. I'm sure I would have if Dr. Guthrie hadn't been there.
That settles it. I'm going to have a talk with the good doctor.
It's not his fault.
Where is he now?
I guess he's at the old house.
Well, that's where I'm headed for.
Roger.
Yes.
Did you mean what you said about arranging for David to spend the night here?
I've already told you yes.
Fine. That's all I wanted to know. Well, here we are at long last. What shall we do? Would you like to play a game? Or some cookies and milk?
There was something about the picture.
I do wish you'd forget about that old thing.
It was different from the way it used to be.
Different in what way?
I was in it.
You? Where?
Down in that corner. You know the one that was empty?
Yes, I remember.
Well, that's where I was painted in. What do you suppose it can mean?
Well, I'm not sure I know.
It sure is a puzzle.
Maybe it just means that you want to be with me forever, just as in the painting. Oh, David, that would be so nice. Wouldn't you like that, darling? And the night here, wouldn't you?
I guess so. But what about my father?
He's already given his permission for you to stay.
I guess it doesn't matter very much to him anyway.
Well, it matters a very great deal to me. In fact, I'd like to have you stay not just overnight, but always.
That's a long time.
Mm-hmm. A very long time. We'd go away, far away. How would you like to see the desert? Oh, David, it's so beautiful. At sunset, it's as if the whole sky is bursting with bright red flames.
Well, I'd like to see it, but leave here forever? I don't know.
Wouldn't you like to leave Collinswood? There's so many things to see, so much to do that you can't do here. There's a whole world.
Well, I'd miss Aunt Elizabeth.
Yes, but she has her child, Carolyn, and I'd like to have mine, you.
But what about Miss Winters? What would become of her?
Miss Winters is a strong, healthy girl, and someday she'll marry and have children of her own.
But until then, she'll lose her job.
She'll find another one, where there'll be another little boy that she'll have to love just as much as you.
Not as much.
Darling, it's her job.
I still think she's my real friend.
Well, of course she's your real friend. She has to be the real friend of any little boy that she's hired to take care of.
But I still think she likes me more than anybody else.
Well, let's not talk about it anymore. Why don't you tell me about your new friend, Dr. Guthrie, hmm?
Well, he's very nice, but he's not so smart.
Why do you say that?
Well, because he has to ask so many questions.
Oh, what kind of questions?
Oh, about Collinwood and the old house and everybody who's ever lived here. He was very interested in your picture.
He was?
Yes, a lot.
I wonder what he wants to know.
I think everything.
Dr. Guthrie certainly is very curious.
Well, I don't know why. Why is he so interested in the old house?
I don't know.
I don't understand some people.
I don't either. I don't understand it at all.
Mrs. Collins?
Yes.
Hello, I'm Peter Guthrie. I've been wanting to meet you.
I was just thinking about you, wondering what you'd be like. Won't you come in?
Oh, thank you. Well, actually, I was looking for David.
He just left.
Oh,
Do come in for a moment and sit down.
thank you.
David has told me so much about you.
And me about you. But you're not at all what I expected.
Really? What did you expect?
Well, I'm not sure, but it's not you. But then, children rarely mention how lovely their parents are. They think about it, but they don't talk about it. At least not to other adults.
Well, it's very kind of you to spend so much time with David.
I'm glad to do it. He's a very nice boy.
Yes, I think so. And also a very imaginative one.
In what way?
Oh, well, all this business about my portrait and Josette.
Oh, yes, of course, that's true.
Of course, you can't blame him growing up in in a place like this all by himself.
It's a beautiful place.
Oh, yes, it is. But so much more a part of the past rather than the present that it's not surprising that he believes in ghosts.
Do you?
No.
Well, what do you believe in?
Well, if so inclined, I believe in times gone by. I believe that the events of the past can be haunting enough without conjuring up spirits about it.
Well, it isn't exactly as if David had been alone. He had his father.
Yes, well, Roger was never really a father to him. In fact, he's the bigger baby of the two.
I heard you were separated.
Well, even when we were together, we were separated. You see, I had a great rival for Roger's affections. Roger himself. He won out. I never could think as much of him as he thought of himself. I don't know why I'm telling you all this.
I'm interested.
Perhaps it's because I would like for us to be friends.
Well, I would like that, too.
Well, then, shall we make a stab at it?
Yes, let's. For David, if for no other reason. I think you're right. He has very few people in this world. Of course, there's your sister-in-law, Mrs. Stoddard.
Yes. She's raised a child of her own, of course, and I don't think that she had the patience to start all over again with mine.
You sound as if you're not too fond of her.
Well, I tried very hard to be fond of her in the beginning, but she wouldn't let me. You see, she didn't think that I was good enough for Roger. No, that's not quite right. Roger didn't count. Actually, she didn't think I was good enough to be a Collins.
Well, then perhaps you won't be too sorry if she's away for a while.
I am always sorry when someone is ill, Doctor, aren't you?
And such a strange illness. What do you make of it?
Well, I'll leave making anything of it to you, after all. That's your business.
I've never seen anything like it. Not in this world.
Are there any other worlds?
There might be.
What an interesting observation. We must discuss it sometime.
Haven't you ever considered the possibilities of another world?
Well, let me put it this way. I feel that the possibilities of things in this world are so infinite that it's difficult to conceive of another.
What an interesting observation. We must discuss it sometime.
Are you going to be around long enough for us to have our discussions?
Well, that depends on how soon I get to the bottom of your sister-in-law's illness.
Uh-huh. Well, I wish I could be of some help.
Well, you may be. You very well may be.
Well, not if you go on looking in other worlds. Because I am strictly part of this one.
But as you've just commented, the possibilities of this world are infinite.